Okay, just making sure. They said that you said it was okay to rape 12-year-old girls. I don't know if that's true.
I already brought that.
Okay, good. That's what I want.
Slander.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted to know. I didn't put that on you. I didn't put it on you.
So you know what I thought? Which we teach now, is that when you go into the law in the ancient world, men, if they saw a woman that they like, they can grab the woman up and rape the woman, man. and we're gonna read the scriptures. We're gonna read the scriptures, all right?
No, somebody
hell no, you didn't have no problem with that.
Years old.
The Lord has a problem.
No, but that's not good law.
Well, let me say this. No, let me say this.
The Lord didn't have a problem with men raping a 12-year-old or any woman that they saw on sight.
The Lord didn't have a problem with it.
Why you David B?
But you know what you're thinking? See, you were brought up in this man's food system, so that's how you think. That's how you think. But back in the ancient world, if you saw, we're talking about, grab a woman, man.
And God had no problem with this.
Of course not.
I get lost. 12.
Women like
No, bro.
to go rape people, man.
We not telling. It's not all right in this society. It's not all right.
The scripture said you can do it.
But you're saying that.
But you don't do that.
But the scriptures say you can.
The Lord.
But you know what? The scriptures also
When
say
they
you can
don't
kill
allow us to do as the Lord would have permitted.
Well, it's true. Yes, that's true.
And as far now, I'm talking in terms of raping a woman on sight if I wanted to.
First of all, the woman that
go to the scripture. Go to the scripture.
Yeah, the scripture answers it better.
That's scripture.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
Let the scriptures talk.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, I'm sorry, verse 28. My bad. Verse 28.
Ain't in there now.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be putting words in the Bible.
Yeah, verse 28.
Yeah, relax.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
The word virgin, by the way, is a Hebrew word. Let me see if I remember. Bathwala. All right. Now the prophecy of Mary, a virgin shall conceive. The word there, virgin, is ayalama, which means young woman of marriageable age.
Gotcha.
Virgin in here means bathwala, virgin, a woman that never been, hit, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver,
A dowry.
and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days.
Now, when you go back, and you know the Hebrew, when you
sound like prostitution now.
No.
He grabbed the woman in the field. The word, no. He humbled it. He gave it to the father after the fact. The word humble, when you go into the Hebrew, the word humble is the word aina. When you look up the word aina, it means to force, to take by force, to arrest. So what does that word mean? Rape. It means rape.
I understand.
Okay.
Now, the next question is this. Now that the Bible has made it clear that it's permissible to rape, why are we still reading the Bible?
Call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Waha Raha Kodash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, our elders, and our teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say Shalom. And it's your brother Amraya. Let's get right into it. What you just saw was a snippet of a video when Brother Polight encountered the New York camp of GMS back in October 2013, where they tried to explain to him or to teach him the laws and customs that are located in the Holy Scriptures dealing with the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, and you speckled birds, you confusion of faces. What then began to happen is Brother Polight, legal name Michael Novak, began to scoff and mock and show his natural ass, as Israelites tend to do when they don't believe in something, okay? He began to cut jokes and mock and scorn over the Holy Scriptures, which all the apostles were trying to do was just teach him a portion of the Bible that he may not have known about. This turned into a roast session for the last, 7-8 years. Whenever someone has an issue with GMS as a whole, they begin to call the members grapists, okay? which is very offensive because they were taught this one law and custom, and they took that to mean this is our, modus operandi, okay? Which is nothing further from the truth, because we live in Esau Edom's society, the self-proclaimed white man that ruleth in the world today. He has his own laws that he enforces that are obtuse to the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But I don't want to get into that too far. This brother began to mock, scoff, cut jokes, and since that time it has been kind of like a sore issue, especially when I hear about it, because constantly being associated with GMS means that you're also associated with this negativity dealing with the grape doctrine, okay? Now, all these years later, Brother Michael Novak, Mr. Polight as he calls himself, has been exposed as a hypocrite, has been exposed for his grape that he committed, and has been sentenced today to 7 years in prison, 10 years probation. If he does not adhere to the finer points of the contract, he can find himself in prison for the next 60 years, okay? Because his crime was very serious in this man's society, this man being the nation of Esau Edom. And what scripture it made me think of is Matthew chapter 12, and we're going to go ahead and scroll down to it. I'll begin at verse 34, because this is truly indicating Brother Polight's mentality, and the rest of you two-thirds in Israel, you two-turds as we like to call you. This is your point of view. But Matthew 12 and 34, O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And we know that the heart is the mind. Okay? La'ab. Verse 35, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. And this applies to Brother Polight, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. Okay? And the day of judgment just happens to quite literally fall on September 6th for Brother Michael Novak, or Brother Polight as he calls himself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the snippet. Now, one more thing, Salakia for this, but it's Michael Nowak is Brother Polight's name, Michael Nowak, okay? So I misspoke earlier. Also, what I'm about to play for you is the, for lack of a better word, the transcript from the courtroom dealing with his sentencing on today, okay? And I know this is going to be a longer video than typical, but I wanted you to hear the victim impact statement at the end of the video as well, just so you can understand exactly how much of a hypocrite this man turned out to be, Brother Polight, okay? So just bear with me, and if you have better stuff to do, go ahead and watch something else, but this is what I'm putting up today. Shalom.
All right, so I have a 4-page plea agreement that was signed by the counsel and the defendant. It was signed on today's date. And on page 1, there is a line on paragraph 5. I cannot read what the handwriting says, so maybe somebody can assist.
Your Honor, the state has crossed out one line of paragraph 5 and has written on the side, this crossed out line does not apply, and then initialed and dated.
Line does not apply. Okay, and that's your initials there?
Correct, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor, before you proceed with the plea, we do have an amended information that we're filing right now.
Okay.
The state, in case F21-14438, is filing an amended information for purposes of the plea, and in contemplation of resolving the case, of 2 counts of child abuse, aggravated, great bodily harm, or torture, felonies in the first degree, 1 count of contributing to delinquency of a dependent or dependency of a child, a misdemeanor in the first degree.
All right. So please arraign on the new information.
We enter a plea of guilty.
No, on the new, well, arraigned on the new information. You're entering a not guilty plea at this point.
At this point.
Okay, and setting it for jury trial, all discovery to be provided. And are we ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I can have the defendant sworn.
Sure, sir. Raise your right hand, the other hand. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Trial.
Okay, I'll need the old information. I want the defendant to be aware of what he was originally facing and what the new information. This is the new information.
I didn't give it to you? Oh,
I have
one second.
All right. Okay, can you tell me your full name and date of birth?
Michael Eugene Note Jr., August 10th, 1983.
All right, thank you. You were originally charged under case number F21-14438 with the following charges: lewd and lascivious molestation on a child, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Count 2 was lewd and lascivious molestation on a child, 12 to 16 years, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Lewd and lascivious conduct on a child under 16 by a defendant 18 or over, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Count 4, lewd and lascivious exhibition on a child under 16 years, defendant over 18, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. And contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. And then count 6 is interference with custody, a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years state prison. The state has now filed an amended information today, charging you with the following: aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. Count 2 is aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. And contributing to the delinquency, dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. It is my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to this new information. You would be adjudicated guilty, and your sentence has been memorialized in a 4-page plea agreement. Did you have the opportunity to go over this plea agreement with your lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. I do need the defendant to initial each page because there are not initials on these pages. Okay. Let me know when it's done. Now, it is my understanding, Mr. Nowak, that you have gone over this plea agreement with your lawyer, and I want to go over it with you, not each and every aspect of it, but the major components of the plea agreement. But what I am going to ask is for the state to tell me the general terms of the plea agreement, and then we will go into the details on the contract. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison, followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant will...
Would you say 10 years probation?
10 years reporting probation. Okay. The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of the restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, is the defendant's counsel going to be providing probation with the proof of the $5,000 being paid?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. you will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931? Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program. That you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page next to defendant's initials MN. Did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David.
Now, as you were listening to the proceedings in court September 6, 2023, dealing with Brother Polight's case, he agreed that he is guilty of the crimes they accused him of, and has taken that plea agreement that came along with it, which is 7 years in prison, which he can be released for good behavior a little early. Also, 10 years probation after the fact, or parole, dealing with the sentencing. So even after he does his time in prison, he will have to do 10 years parole afterwards. Now, Brother Polight is a prime example of be careful what you say, especially dealing with the Holy Scriptures and the laws, statutes, and commandments that are pertained within them, okay? What I'm going to play for you now to end out this video is the impact statement from the victim, which she read off in court as well. I may put the full video up in my community portion of my page today. It's a very long video, so be looking out for that. But I'm going to end out with the victim impact statement. And before we do, we're going to finish reading this again. Matthew 12:34, O generation of vipers, how can ye be being evil speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you, verse 36, but I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. Verse 37, for by thy words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. Okay? This man was clearly, as you've seen in the first snippet of the video, offended at the laws contained within the Holy Scriptures passed down by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? And then turns around and does the same exact thing that he was offended by, showing you a hypocrite. Okay? We're going to end out on the victim impact statement, but I just want you out here that come across this video to be aware that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is nothing to play with. So stop scoffing, scorning, mocking the prophets, because they are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And Yahweh is whom you ignorantly call God. Yahushai is his son, whom the world recognizes as Jesus. Hopefully this has been edifying. If you were thinking about speaking against the Lord and his men, my advice, do something else, okay? Because as we found out, though it took 10 years for this man to receive his judgment, he did receive judgment. He will be going to prison for the same crime that he was so offended at. We're going to end out on the impact statement. Shalom.